Hello, everybody. Can't believe we gotten this far in a course without talking about menus. Well, keeping the best for last, I suppose. Okay, most important thing to remember is that menus will be created in the exact order in which you create them. Right. So it what I try to do generally is to have a little subroutine called make menu or something like that, and create all my menus in there. Now, normally a subroutine is something you use when there's a thing that you want to call up 100 times in your program. This is an exception. This is a subroutine which I make because it just makes it easier if all my menu creation is done in one place. And it's not scattered all over my program. So here are two little routines that I got from the Yab sample code. Let's have a look at this. Right, so you open a window, right, and start with test. So test is going to be the first menu header. Then later on you move to radio, and that'll be the second menu header. And we can see, so this is the first one, and that's the second one. Now if I started with the radio, then radio would be over there, and test would come after it. So remember, the exact order in which you create these things is the order that will be followed. Now, of course, I can make test and then make something in radio and then go back to test and then go back to radio. You can do that, but it's just bad programming practice and you're going to get confused. So having them together in nice little blocks like this, that does help a lot for future maintainability. The other thing to remember is this little line here is created automatically, and it's always going to be black on gray. And you need to leave about 25 pixels for your menu. It's always going to be on top. There's no way that I know of to put a menu at the bottom or on the sides. It would be nice if we could do that, but we can't. Okay, so we've got test foo and test bar. Neither of them have a shortcut key, and they go straight onto example. Now, if your program has a menu, that menu is going to be there. Now, you might think, oh, I'll make a separate view and then put my menu on that view, and then I can delete the view whenever I want. Let me assure you that your program's going to crash. I mean, you can put it on a separate view if you like, but it is going to crash if you try to delete the view and recreate it. Don't do it. If your program needs a menu, then that menu is a permanent fixture. So, all this little menu does is it removes the check mark, which happens over here, right? It toggles between mark and plain. And this is used from the menu set command. Radio is slightly different because here only one of these can be marked at a time. Right, and that is, see, you can also have a separator line. I think we'll see that in the next example. And here is the explanation for your shortcut examples. Now, when do you use a radio menu? Generally for settings. Okay, so this is the header and this is the menu item. But is that all? Do we just have the one level of menus? No, you can have two levels. Now, when that happens, you use submenu and submenu set. And you see you have menu head, menu item, and submenu item. So that's an extra little item that comes up there. And again, shortcut and the view you put it on. And so here, this actually does something. It calls up. Let's just close this. It calls up a little alert. Let's have a look at that code. Right, and so you can see here we have a shortcut. And that is right there. That should read Alt Q, not Opt Q. That's what it'll say in your program. I've got a weird keyboard layout here with the virtual machine on a Macintosh keyboard, so don't worry about that. Anyway, so in your main loop, you test for the message that comes off the menu and you perform some action accordingly. You know, and if this grows to unmanageable proportions, then you can just cut and paste it into a subroutine and just call the subroutine here. And that is pretty much all there is to using menus. Right, so you can gray them out. In fact, we saw here that foo is active, but bar is grayed out. Right, and then later on in your program, when you're going to need that again, then you can make it active again. So, let's say some things can't be done until you have a file open. So once you have a file in memory, you can make those menu items active. So don't wait until you have your file open to now start populating your menus. You create your menus ahead of time, gray out the items that are not relevant yet, and then you can reactivate them when you feel, yeah, they're necessary now. That's the sort of fine tuning you do once your program is up and running. It's not something I would do in the first initial stage of drafting a program. In the first stage, you want all your menu items there, and later you can start thinking, do I really need that at this stage? Okay, so that is menus in Yab. Just read the documentation and have a look at these example codes. It's actually fairly straightforward, fairly easy to use. The other thing is the pop-up menu. Hello, there we go. Which works in a very similar way, right? Except that you have to say where on your view it's going to show up, and you only have one level. There's no submenus in a pop-up menu. Yeah, and I think you've seen me use that in some of the programs that I've been writing. And I don't have an example for you here, but if you go back, I think in my Jetty program I use pop-up menus quite a bit. Okay, so I'm going to have to go over the list of episodes that we've done and to see if there are any widgets that we missed. But I think we are slowly getting to the point where we can say, well, that's pretty much it. So from now on, the main focus of this channel is going to be, talking through programs as I write them. Right? We've pretty much done the basic set of commands. So I think we haven't done tree box yet, but I've never really used that, so that might take a while. Right, I'm going to have to think of something there. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.